Hello. It's a Saturday and I'm streaming. Something odd there. That's because... Hey, guess what? See this thing here? It's gone wrong again. Stupid advanced scene switcher. I'm not happy with it. It just constantly goes wrong. Let me just sort this out. Again, the same as I seem to have to do at the start of every stream. I go there, I go there, I go there, I go there. That's better. Yes. No Shelby stream this weekend, so it's me again. Standing in or sitting in, because I'm too lazy to stand up, for our Shelby. I'm just untangling wires at the moment, all tangled up. Yeah. No, I've been out all day. I'm absolutely knackered. So, this is very much a low-key, impromptu stream where I'm pretty much doing the same as yesterday, really. Installing an operating system on an old computer. This time, Vista on the Not-A-Dell computer. That's one of the two that I got the other day that we looked at. The one which looks like it should be a Dell at first glance, but isn't. The Pentium 4 grade Celeron, and it's going to have Vista on it. Possibly, if it works. I know the computer works. I mean, if Vista works. I don't know if Vista works. And of course, I've got to find all my cables and things to get all this working, because I'm not set up for anything because I've been out all day and I've just been catching up on stuff. But the first thing I will need to do actually is heatsink. I still haven't got any heatsink compound on this one, so I'm just going to quickly put some on before I boot it up and see if we can get Vista going on it. Oh, it's this awful cooler with the twist things, isn't it? Twist mountings. Never know which way around these are supposed to go. I think that's release. Got it, I think. There. One of these horrible ones. But it's not as horrible as some, it has to be said. So that's now off. I'll give it a quick clean. Get the old heatsink compound off it with some IPA. There we go. The CPU is already quite clean because I cleaned that the other day. Put some MX4 on it. The absolute precise exact amount. The amount that should be put on it, which you can't see. And try and get this heatsink back in again. I'm never sure with these style heatsinks whether they're actually clamping in or not. It always feels a very tenuous grasp on the motherboard. Right, that's in. I'm also going to want a hard drive in this, aren't I? Oh yeah, and I've not got my hat on, have I? That's how unprepared I am today. Where is my hat? There's my hat. That's better. Keep the mop under control. Hello, Carrot House. How you doing? Let's find me a hard drive. Hey, yeah. Oh, I've just noticed there's no music, is there? Another thing that didn't work. Which hard drive shall I use? What's this one? I can use a SATA one in this computer. This one is a Mac Store. 160 gigabytes. That sounds good enough for Windows Vista, doesn't it? How were my performances today? Oh, absolutely immaculate. It was what we call a come and sing. It's like a workshop that I was helping to run. And we were singing John Rutter's Gloria, and it's a nightmare piece to sing. You should look it up on Spotify sometime. It's quite an impressive little, fairly short work, but it's a bit of an intensive workout, both mentally and physically, trying to sing that thing. What have I done with my screws? There's my screws. One screw in the hard drive. I need at least two. I don't think I'm going to bother with the other side of the drive just yet on this, because that involves taking the rest of the case apart, and I can't be bothered today. My energy levels are at 0 now. Okay, drive is in. I don't know if this drive even works. Drive is connected. Right, where's all the rest of the cables that I'm going to need? Well, I want a keyboard. Oop. Thud. I hope I didn't just perforate your eardrums then. And where's my Microsoft mouse gone? Should be here on the desk, I think. Or not. I don't know where that one's gone. I had it the other day. Oh well, I'll use this very, very nice, expensive, top quality gaming mouse. Cost all of about £2. And we need the iOD, which has got the Vista image on it. And we'll see if this will boot off USB. I'm going to need some power as well, aren't I? There's the power cable wending its way across the desk from last time. Right. Here we go. Walmart. Ugh. Disgusting. You need all the luck you can get going to that hellhole. Right, is this going to work? First off, we need to know if it finds the hard drive. No, I don't want to boot that image. Go away and come back. Top of the list. Windows. Windows Vista. Let's reboot it manually. Mash the keyboard. There we go. Right. Where is it? Ah, there we go. SATA 1, Mac Store, 6L160M0. That'll do nicely. Okay, this should boot off the USB, I hope. Looking good. Windows is loading files. Could be a while. USB 2 on a Celeron. You know, I don't think I have ever in my life actually installed Windows Vista. I've used it, yes, but I don't think I've ever actually actively gone ahead and installed it on a computer before. I went straight from Windows XP straight up to 7 and refused to install Vista. We have working mouse, that's good. United Kingdom. Now, I can't see the next button because I'm right on top of it. I managed to hit it without being able to see it. That's good. Right, there's already partitions on here, so let's go to drive options and delete both hang on. 148, yeah, that's okay. Oh, we're in CD mode on the iOD. I was just worried that one of these might be the iOD disk. But no, it's only in CD-ROM mode at the moment, so it can't be showing the disk. So I'll just delete these two partitions. No idea what's on this disk at the moment, but it's now blank. And we shall install to the unallocated space. If I can find the button behind my camera. Hello, Dizziac. We're not degenerates here. We are not the home of degenerates. For that, you need Jackie Codes. That's the home of the degenerates. We're all sensible here. We're all clean, living, healthy people. All of us are well balanced. It reminds me of a line from one of the episodes of Buffy, spoken by Xander. To read is make our speaking English good. And that's about the sum of my ability to speak today, I think. It's been a long day. I have every single episode on my computer. And I have watched them all so many times I know them backwards. It's quite scary, really. Files are expanding, just like my belly. We are installing Windows Vista Ultimate on the Not-A-Dell computer that we looked at the other day. The Pentium 4 grade Celeron. I thought it needed punishing. Well, I don't have a Windows Vista computer here. With good reason, I suppose, but I thought I should at least have one. And it occurred to me that I've never actually installed Windows Vista. In all the times that I've had to use it, I've never actually installed it. So I thought I should. Just so that I can say that I have. But I've only got until about 9 o'clock for streaming today because I'm dog sitting this weekend. So at 9 o'clock I will be begged to take the dog out for a walk. By the dog, of course. She'll be there banging on the door saying, I need to go out for a piss. Come on, take me, take me. And of course I'll have to go because there's no oh, my brain is so frazzled. There's no arguing with a dog. Yeah, I mean, Vista suffered pretty much the same as Windows ME. It was a big departure from what came before it, so people hated it automatically. It had pretty terrible driver support, so it kept crashing. I mean, ME... Oh, it can be argued that pretty much every other Windows version is a dumpster fire. I mean, they've basically been doing a flip-flop release schedule where every other release is basically an experimental release. And then the ones in between, they take the experimental release, fix all the messes that they made with it, and release something semi-decent. So Windows 95 was very much an experimental release. Yes, it was groundbreaking for its day, but by comparison with what else there was around, or what's come after it, it was complete and utter dross. Windows 98, a very respectable operating system. Windows ME, complete and utter rubbish. Windows XP, brilliant. Vista, terrible. 7, perfect as far as Windows goes. 8, well, less said about 8 the better. Windows 10, perfectly reasonable. Windows 11 has gone downhill again. 8.1, parts of it were usable, but a lot of it still suffered from the problems of 8. Well, XP again, it was built off Vista, so it was bound to be full of flaws to begin with. But it grew into a very good operating system. Whereas Vista was just flawed all the way through. 72%. Not the fastest computer in the world, this, plus it's installing off USB 2, which is slow. Yeah, Windows 7, I used 7 for quite a while. It's the last Windows version that I used as my regular desktop before switching full-time to Linux. Obviously, I do have a Windows desktop because I play games. And for that, you really need a Windows desktop. But my main workstation since Windows 7 has been Linux. Yeah, FireWire is interesting, let's say. I use FireWire on my setup here with the Focusrite, and it works beautifully, but only because I've pre-configured it by using an Apple Mac with native FireWire. On Windows, it worked on Windows, but then stopped working on Windows, and now it doesn't work on Windows. And Linux, well, the FireWire support on Linux is just non-existent. Yeah, IRQs have always been a problem, certainly in earlier computers. Before PCIe was around, IRQs were a serious problem. Because you only had something like 16 for the entire computer, and as they got more and more complicated, you ended up getting more and more resource conflicts. So, it's one of the great things with PCIe is there's no problems with resources. It's all automatic. There's no interrupt conflicts. There's no I/O conflicts. It's just plug it in and it works. Linux audio is... yeah. Like many things on Linux, there are many different implementations of audio. It may be boring. But it saves so much time and hassle. I mean, on Linux you've had OSS was the original /dev/audio, which morphed into /dev/DSP, which was a very simple, very easy to use interface. Couldn't do much, but it was very easy to use. Then along came ALSA to abstract it all away into some hidden, strange black hole somewhere. And then on top of that came not Pipewire, the other one, Pulse Audio, to make another big mess of it all. And then Jack came as well alongside that. So you got 4 different audio systems. Then OSS was dropped, so any software that needs it no longer works. So there was a wrapper library created for it, which emulated OSS within Pulse Audio, which barely worked. And then along comes Pipewire to try and clean it all up and bring it all together, but it's still written on top of ALSA. But it does mean that you can get rid of Jack and Pulse Audio, both of which are... I mean, they do their job okay, but they're not the easiest systems to use. And they're not the easiest things to get to work together. Oh, we've installed features. Now for the updates. And then, of course, you have FireWire audio, which is another complete mystery. It all plugs into ALSA and things, so it's there as an ordinary sound card. But controlling it, as regards sort of setting up crossbars and mixing and all that sort of thing, there is one application called Fado Mixer. It's written in Python, and it segfaults all the time, and it hasn't been updated for about 10 years. And it is a horrible, horrible program. And that is the only program you have for configuring any kind of FireWire audio. which is why I've pre-configured my Focusrite Sapphire on the Apple Mac, where it works perfectly. And then I just plug it into I save all the settings to it, and then it runs quite happily on Linux without me having to touch it. I used to have the best of both worlds in one computer. And it's actually my Windows desktop now. I used to have that set up with 2 graphics cards plus the onboard graphics. And Linux running natively on it. Set up as a virtual machine server with both graphics cards passed through. Running Linux as a virtual machine with one graphics card and Windows as a virtual machine with the other graphics card. So I had both operating systems running with native GPU support on the same computer. It worked really quite well. It was a nightmare to try and configure though. It really was. Now I just have more computers than I can shake a poo-covered stick at. And most of them are old. I was counting in my head last night actually how many computers I do have. Not including laptops, I got up to... Actually, was that included? No, including laptops, I got up to 19. So I'm about halfway there. Completing installation. Yeah, I've not been collecting for very long. A PCIe power cable for a GPU on a Dell, yes. Well, that's why my main workstation here is a Dell. It's the one that I found at the tip. I would never buy a Dell. And it's got a tiny little power supply in it, and it's its own weird 6-pin connector, and no room for a big graphics card, and there's nothing you can really do for it. So I put in a 1050 Ti because it didn't need a 6-pin or an 8-pin or whatever power connector on it. And it does the job quite happily. You survived Walmart, did you, Carrot House? Well done. 22. I'm gradually catching you up. Feel free to send me any interesting ones. Stories of your death were greatly exaggerated. Damn. Oh dear, yes. Dell do like their proprietary pinouts. Anything to make you buy their own replacement parts. Free Dells are the only good Dells. Actually, there are 2 kinds of good Dells. Free Dells and Dells that have been run over by a steamroller. Or thrown off a cliff. That's why I quite like this computer here, because it's a Not-A-Dell. It looks like it should be a Dell, but it's not. And it weighs about a third the amount of a Dell. Things are happening. We've got a spinny thing. It moves with the mouse. I think, Carrot House, you're heading towards critical mass with computers. And if you get any more added into your storage space, it's going to implode and turn into a black hole. You love Dell. They build everything like it's a server from 2004. They are very sturdily built, it has to be said. But when it comes to doing any kind of upgrades or repairs or anything like that, it just turns into a nightmare because they've proprietarized, is that a word, proprietarized, the hell out of it. A dual socket server with a single quad core and one DIMM. Ugh. That's not a server, that's a doorstop. Well, if you want to clear out any space, just load it all into a container and ship it across to the UK for me. Okay, type in a username. That will be there, and a password. I'm not going to have a password. Right. Okay, we now need to name the computer. Yeah, there's no such thing as cheap DDR4 yet. I actually had to buy some for my Dell from Crucial. Yes, it's ! avatars. Should come up with a list of avatars. If I can find my mouse. Oh, there it is. You found it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's probably a scam. I've been doing a bit of work actually on my overlays just before the stream. And hopefully things are working. I have some things showing up in here, good. Because I've added a few extra commands. I want to fight you, Carrot House. Come on, fight you. Come on, put him up. Put him up. Come on, let's fight. Come on. Where are you? Come and fight me. He's gone again, hasn't he? Ah, there he is. You missed. You put a space in. You can't put a space in. It's going to time out. Hey, there we go. Cat fight. He's going to beat me, isn't he? God damn Canadians. Yay! I won. Now, if I do ! Score. It didn't work. Okay. That's annoying. Because I'm trying to implement a leaderboard. But it didn't make a note of my win then. So there must be something wrong with my SQL. So I shall have to look at that later, but I have got leaderboard on its way. Right, okay, we need a name for this computer. I'm going to have to call it Not-A-Dell, aren't I? Now, do I call it Not-A-Dell? Or do I call it Not-A-Dell? Or do I just call it Adele? Ah, Not-A-Dell or Adele? Is it Not-A-Dell or is it Dell? Is it Adele or is it Not-A-Dell? I'm going to have to do a poll for this, aren't I? New poll. Start poll, here we go. Is it Adele or Not-A-Dell? Currently Not-A-Dell is in the lead. It's a 2-minute poll. It's looking fairly unanimous so far of Not-A-Dell. Oh, somebody likes Adele. Still Not-A-Dell in the lead though. Oh, neck and neck now. Not Canadian. No, I'm not having not Canadian. Still neck and neck. It can probably have a dash. My sense of adventure doesn't extend outside the borders of this country. Anyway, that's not camel case, that's Pascal case. Camel case, the first letter is lowercase. Still at 50-50. 50-50. Complete split straight down the middle. You guys can never agree on anything, can you? You can never choose. It's always 50-50 with you lot. Every poll is always 50-50. So I get to choose. Not-A-Dell. Now then, can I find the button? Yes. Okay. The time is even right. Thank you. Yes, asking groups of people to agree on something is never a good idea. It reminds me of archaeologists. If you put 3 archaeologists in a room together and ask them to come up with a theory of why a site is like it is, they come up with at least 4 answers. I'm not sure if there's a button hiding behind me, is there, or not? Oh, there might have been. Let's see that wonderful arrow. It'll be coming soon. There is arrow on the horizon. Checking my computer's performance or lack thereof. Getting it done just got more fun. Oh, did it now? Time is precious. More than ever, you need a system that is simple, easy, natural, and crashes all the time. Connect and communicate like never before. I'm excited. In fact...
Wow, I'm really intrigued. Although that could just be the intrigue and all I took this morning.
I can run Halo 2 now on this thing. I might need to upgrade the graphics card first. It's just running on the onboard graphics of the Intel chip. I never knew that. But then I've never played Halo or Halo 2 or Halo 3 or Halo 28 or whatever they're up to now. I think the messages have looped. Oh, things are happening. Preparing my desktop. When are we finishing Quake? I might do that tomorrow, possibly. I haven't really got time today because I'm going to have to finish the stream at 9 PM to walk the dog. Dog sitting this weekend, just for the one night. Well, hey, we are in to Vista and the Welcome Centre. Wow. And the cheesy widgets. No, I haven't paid the doggo tax. The doggo's downstairs at the moment. Right, we need, I guess, to sort out the display settings on here. And it won't go above 800 by 600. Probably because the graphics drivers aren't properly installed. Let's have a look what we've got. Windows needs your... Oh, I remember this from Windows Vista. Windows needs your permission to continue. You clicked the mouse. Are you sure you wanted to do that? Give me permission to read the mouse click that you just clicked. Right, display adapters. It's just standard VGA. I'm going to need to dig out some drivers for this motherboard, which is the MSI G41M4. Let's get Googling MSI G41M4. MicroStar International. Product specifications. Socket 775. Chipset Intel G41. DDR2 memory. Dual channel. 2 slots of memory. Maximum 8 gigabytes of RAM. Ooh. 1x16 PCIe. 2 PCI ports, 1 IDE, 4 SATA 2, 1 TPM header, 4 rear USB 2 ports, 1 rear serial port, VGA. Where's the drivers for it though? Detail. No. Tells me what it is, doesn't tell me where the drivers are. Support. There we go. Okay, driver downloads. Driver Vista 32. Right, let's just clear out my downloads folder first. And download the Intel chipset drivers, the onboard VGA drivers, and the onboard audio drivers. And get my trusty little memory key. And I shall put these on to here. It's the MSI G41M4. Golf 41. What's M? Can't remember what M is. 4. Download's finished. Let's unzip everything. Mic, that's it, yes. I should know that because there's one right in front of me here. Mario, yes. Golf 4-1 Mario 4. So G41 M4. Was it G4 and M4? G4 and M4, yes. No space left on device. Oops. Let's do the zips from there. Waiting for this slow device to update. They may not have been common, but the chipset supported them. Whether they ever got used or not, though, is another question. The audio drivers are far too big to fit. It's only a 400 odd meg drive, this. The first one I could put my hands on. So I won't do the audio just yet. Wait for it to flush its cache. There we go. Hopefully drivers on here. Installing device driver software. This is a Celeron E3500, I think. I can't remember offhand. E3400. Okay, so we have SVGA, I think we want to do first. And we have... Is it just a zip file within a zip file, this one? That's stupid, isn't it? Let's dump this onto the desktop. Where are we? Specifications. The base clock can go 800, 1066 or 1333. How mad can we make it with a piece of tape? Well, there's always an option, I suppose. Maybe a bit of water cooling as well to allow it to stop melting. Yes, you have my permission to do everything that I tell you to do. The computer does not meet the minimum requirements for installing this software. This is the Windows Vista 32-bit device drivers. I didn't install the 64-bit version of Vista, did I? I might have done. I did. I installed 64-bit. Ah. That was silly. I wasn't expected to be installing the 64-bit version. That makes a difference. It's not a problem. I just need to download the 64-bit drivers. make a bit more room on this. Just copy these other drivers off first. And then delete them. I mean, there's no point in going 64-bit if you've only got less than 4 gig of RAM. On a computer of this grade, 64-bit is pretty much irrelevant. It doesn't give you anything. Delete my old drivers. And now let's go back to support. And drivers and downloads, driver Vista 64. Download the Intel driver chipsets, chipset drivers, the VGA drivers, and I want the audio drivers. Yes, I knew what it was you were on about with the piece of tape, but it's not something I've ever actually seen, so I wasn't sure where it goes. Ah, it's just those 2 pins. Just cover them up. Yeah, let's use a larger chunk of data at a time, but if you haven't got the memory to store that data in the first place, it's irrelevant. I mean, I could just put in a faster chip. I've got plenty of them here. Right, have I got the drivers here now? Should be the drivers once it's finished flushing its cache to the USB drive. Slowest flash drive in the world, this is. I've got a box full of them, full of 775s. I just stuck my hand in the drawer next to me, and actually that one's empty. It's a P4630, but it's empty. Oh, here's a P4531. That'll do. Not sure how the 531 compares to the E340. I don't have any Core 2 quads at all in my collection. That's one of the things I need to add to my collection is a Core 2 quad. Right, that's finished writing. So now we view the files. Let's get rid of some of these huge chunky windows. files can go now. Delete. Yes. Let's use the right keyboard for this, shall we? There we go. Copy these across. Right, so we want the G45. Extract all. Extract. And extract that as well. Zip file inside a zip file. Oh, 4970. Oh, 4970K. That's the overclockable version. Right, I should now be able to run setup, and it should work. Yay! Automatically run WinSat and enable the Aero's desktop theme if supported. No idea what WinSat is. Produces spots anyway. So it looks like the E3400 is dual core with 2 threads, but the Pentium 4 531 here is single core with 2 threads, hyper-threaded. Faster boost clock speed though at 3 GHz. Less cache. Everything else looks about the same. This is, by comparison, rubbish. So I'll stick with the Celeron, I think. Now I'd have to build a computer to put it into, and I'm lacking cases. But thanks anyway. I'll keep holding out for a full system to turn up on my doorstep. Okay, we should have proper graphics now. I wouldn't want you to ship the whole system across the pond. It wouldn't survive. Unless it was packed securely in the shipping crate that Carrot House is filling up gradually with computers for me. Far more than just buying one on eBay locally. And I'm not about to go and buy a computer for this sort of thing. I have this unwritten rule that vintage computers must be free. Or should be free. Ideally. So I tend to get them either from skips or from willing donors. Yeah, just cover the memory and you'll never hear from me again. So cover the postage cost and you'll never hear from me again. Let's see if we can get a better resolution now. No, we can't. Why not? Yes, just let me into the device manager, you foolish system. It's in there. Maybe I'm capturing at 800 by 600. 19.2 by 1080? No. It doesn't like doing any more than 800 by 600. Actually, I wonder if it's the settings of the Extron. What's that currently set to? Input configuration. No, output configuration. 800 by 600. Oops, wrong button. Let's get this up to the native resolution of the capture. 1080p. Enter. Right, that might be a bit better now. Let's see what this now thinks. Display settings, I might need to reboot actually. Or maybe if I just disconnect and reconnect, will it think it's got a different monitor? No. It's not going to work until I reboot. It would be a bit on the hot side, I think, Desiac. Running at that sort of speed. And this board does have a PCIe 16 lane on it, so I could put a 4090 in it. I dread to think what Carrot House would put in the shipping crate, especially if he's going to secrete himself away in there as well. What strange things a Canadian would put in there to survive on a sea voyage. Right, can I now get a better resolution? No. Yes, I can. 1920 by 1080. Ugh, why have you gone off to one side? I shall say yes for the moment, and then go menu, auto image, auto image. Nope, it's all off to one side. Picture controls, horizontal position. Horizontal size is okay. No, it's not a happy resolution, that at the moment. Let's bring it down to something a bit more sensible. See what it thinks. That'll do. Bit squished, but it'll do. Right. Intel chipset. Hopefully this might contain the network drivers. We shall see. Intel driver, Intel 4 series chipset processor to I/O controller. Sounds fancy. Serial 8080 storage controller. Ultra 8080 storage controller. Are we going to get Intel network or not? Or will I have to dig that out separately? It didn't have network drivers on the board support page. This is a big install, this one. Considering the whole archive is only a couple of 100k. A couple of meg. Taking forever. Oh, lots of USB stuff. No sign of any network yet though. Can't put updates on until I get the network. Still thinking, still thinking. I could, but yeah, that's just a no. SM bus controller. Oh, all sorts of things are flashing at the bottom of the screen now, all sorts of autoplays. How many widgets until the machine hangs? Oh, 7. That's what I bet. 7. Calm down, Carrot House. Or I'll have to burger you. Click next to continue. No network. No nick for me. I shall have to work out what nick it is. Looks like it's going to be Realtek. However, it's 9 o'clock and it's time to walk the dog. So I'm going to have to, once this is booted up, make sure it's all still working, go and walk the dog. Which means I'm going to have to leave you until tomorrow. But before then, I will probably have finished installing Vista on this, so that tomorrow we can play Quake 2 and finish it. No, it's not a euphemism. I have to literally go and walk my brother's dog. We're looking after her for the weekend. Carrot House bot standing by. I'll try not to break the outro this time. I pressed the wrong button last time and it terminated the stream early. Okay, that all still boots up. Right, it's time for me to go. So here we are in the outro. Right. Let's get my microphone up here. That was a... Oh no, it's just a very short, low energy stream at the end of a long day. Hopefully tomorrow's will be a bit more interesting. But now, yeah, I have to go and walk the dog and clean up after the dog and bring the dog mess home. I'm so glad I don't own a dog. This is the best way to own a dog. Own somebody else's dog on a temporary basis. I love dogs, but that's just too much work for me. Give me a cat any day. OnlyFans, there will never be an OnlyFans page. Ever. So yes, thank you for joining me on this very low effort installing of Vista on the Not-A-Dell computer. If you enjoyed this stream, you might like to follow the channel to be notified when I stream next. Officially, that will be next Monday, but I will probably be streaming tomorrow because there's no Shelby stream. If you really like the channel, you may want to support us by subscribing. You can also find me on YouTube and Discord. But until I see you next, which Monday or tomorrow, probably tomorrow if I play my cards right, have a good rest of the weekend and I will see you later.